Good evening, good evening, good evening. How is everybody doing? We're in the month of July. Can you believe it? And God is good. Well, it's let's be real. I am amazed how many people is contact me and say, Bishop, your program is so different. I said, well, it's not me. It's all to the glory of God. In this program, we just want to be real, telling you about real life issues, real life stories, how man and woman go through what they go through in life. It blew me away what I hear so far and how man has survived and how God is carrying through. I'm blown away, people of God, wherever you are, you're watching us. This is, let's be real. This is what people go through, and in their past, in their presence, and their future is different. I am humbled and honored tonight always to bring amazing men and women of God from all walks of life. And tonight we have an amazing rapper, singer from Hearts of Talent. This young man, I guess he's from the Caribbean. He's willing to train you. He's willing to guide you, even to mentor you if you desire to be a rapper or whatever it is. This young man is so gifted. His rapper name is K9. Now, I met this young man at the launch of Hearts of Talent, and I am amazed the gifts that God has put in some people. And then my guest is a great guy, great man of God, Minister Theo. You will hear the story. You know, I'm amazed the people God sent in my life and just hear what God has done. But let us get going. Let us say thank you for God's grace and mercy. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a great honor to welcome K9 to the show. Good evening, sir. How are you? Can you hear me?
Good evening.
You all right?
Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
you're
I'm
just a little
fine,
bit
thank you. How
frozen,
are you?
but oh man, K9, wow, man, I'm blessed by what you are doing, man, and the gifting God has given you. Where did this come
Thank
from?
I've been writing for a long time since I was in school. I had a gift for poetry,
Wow,
and I continued to write, and it developed into music form.
goodness me. Look at that, K9. Wow, that's amazing. And you with Hearts of Talent too? You helping there, you giving direction?
Yes, I do mentoring, working with youth, so it was great to be part of Hearts of Talent and continue that work with the youth as well.
Wow. Listen, I leave you to do what you're best at. Ladies and gentlemen, K9 is on the show tonight. I let you do your thing, K9. You go, my brother. God bless.
God bless. Thank you. This is a piece that I wrote, a spoken word piece, and it's called "Say My Piece." I hope you enjoy it. I feel like peace is not an option, freedom's an illusion. Never been to prison, but feel like I'm in an institution. Trials and tribulations, I'm finding the solutions. Questions don't get answered, they leave you with confusion. It's like we're getting stupider. I think things are peculiar. We as a people don't know who we are. So don't be worried about all the borings and the shoot 'em ups when there's world leaders that are warring and it's nuclear. It's like they work for Lucifer, the killings and the bombings, taking out a country to be taking their belongings. Strip you of your culture, you don't know what you belong in. Survival of the fittest, because only the strong win. Control the way your mind is set, so you just do what Simon says. Tell you that to live in peace, that you have to fight to death. This life's a mess. It's hard to see righteousness. I'm on my P's and Q's, don't worry about X, Y, and Z. All I see is so many innocent lives, children and women that die. Been happening from the beginning of time. It used to be sword fights, big sticks and the knives. Now it's pistols and rifles and shooting missiles in skies. But I'm like a musician, I know the score. These politicians don't go to war. They just send the troops out and they don't know the cause. Troops are disposable. What do you think a soldier's for? I said that peace is not an option. Freedom's an illusion. Never been to prison, but feel like I'm in an institution. Trials and tribulations, I'm finding the solutions. Questions don't get answered, they leave you with confusion. You've got to be certain. Don't be astonished when they don't fulfill the promises they offered each person. There's no apologies for the losses we burden. Think about the prophecy. Did you read the sermon? But what are we learning? All I see is poverty, robberies, murders, colonies working. Rothschild and Rockefeller gotta keep earning. We living in Britain, but our monarchy's German. It's all just propaganda. And I'm not saying this for jokes. This is not for banter. There's a virus in this world. Can you spot the cancer? Police are even killing brothers when they got their hands up. The discipline is militant on citizens that's innocent. Let me say that again. The discipline is militant on citizens that's innocent. Tried to justify and say civilians are insolent. Predicament I was living in is death or imprisonment. Do I need to say it any different? So really, I'm not listening. Forget what the people recommending, like the EU referendum, the whole United Nations. But we need to prevent it if peace is the intention. Thank you. I hope you enjoyed that one.
Man, I can't do that. Where did you get the words, the rhythm, and putting those puzzles together? Oh, wow. That's amazing, K9. Wow, that's true what you said. There were some the stuff that came up. Man, I am blessed. Thank you so much. We'll speak to you soon, eh? Ladies and gentlemen, what an honor to have K9. Look at that flow. Wow. You need more of that? Go to K9. He has his own website. He has his own contact details. If you want to speak to him and he want to give you some direction, call me. I will put you connecting to the right man. Well, ladies and gentlemen, the show need to go on. And we thank God for those who have heard the spoken word of K9. Now tonight, I am humbled. I met this man of God. He's where a few years ago with the Bread Factor. He was one of the MCs, and he's a great presenter. And he's going to tell us more what he does behind the scenes. And it's such an humble honor when I spoke to him and I asked him, would you like to be a guest on my show? The man said, man, it will be a pleasure. Ladies and gentlemen, it's an honor to welcome our guest, Minister Theo Mendelssohn. Man of God, you're in the studio. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Good evening, everybody. How are you doing, sir? Nice to see you, Bishop. I'm well, sir. I'm well. It's a long day, but I'm well.
Wow. I appreciate your time. I know you're still busy. You're still in the studio doing things like that to done. First, tell us, how was your day?
Long. I've just been on Premier Praise doing the PLC. I've been in the box since 2:00, so
wow.
It's just to come out and so it's 2 till 7 on today.
Wow. But welcome. Thank you for your time and thank you for sharing us what God has done and how he's carried you through. Well, you just blew me away when we had our slight talk, and I said, no, the world need to hear this. It's all over right now. The world need to hear what God has done to you, man of God. Hey, tell us, you married?
Yes, I'm married. I have 6 children, 6 grandchildren. I'm a radio presenter, producer, anything to do with the radio, basically, I'm involved in. I'm also a behavior specialist mentor for young people.
Wow.
In schools, on the streets, wherever the young person is, I'm there, basically.
Wow. That's a dedicating assignment that you have.
Yeah, something like that. The Lord found me and said, yeah, you got ants in your pants.
I know you were born in England, and then tell us now further. Yes. We are excited to hear how God brought all this to where you are now. You
want the full story, sir? Okay, you want the full story? Okay, all right, let's go. So I was born in the UK, Northwest London, Central Middlesex Hospital. But then I went to Jamaica. I don't know. No one has recollection of time. I went to Jamaica when I was young, so about 3, and then I was with my gran and my uncle. She went back. She was part of the Windrush, but she went back in the 70s.
Okay.
And then my uncle, he was in the army over here, and he went back and joined the police force in Jamaica. So they raised me, 3, 4 years, and then I came back to the UK. I didn't know who my mother. I didn't know what my mum looks like because back then there's no pictures now. Everybody's got pictures and stuff like that. So when I was getting to the airport, the only people I actually had seen was my little sister and my uncle because they'd come over to Jamaica previously. Okay. So I'm on the plane coming over to a foreign country. To me, it's a foreign country. I just remember this grey cloud flying into this grey. I've never seen grey like that before in my life. I've never felt cold like I felt in my life. I was a little boy. I had a jumper that I've never worn before. I put this jumper on because it's too hot in Jamaica to wear a jumper. So I put this jumper on thinking, yeah, I'm going to be, but that jumper didn't do a thing. I might as well be wearing a t-shirt.
Yeah.
So I'm getting unfamiliar faces, and then I saw my little sister, my uncle, and then I saw my mum and everybody. And yeah, so that was the journey. But in Jamaica, I used to go to a Pentecostal church, Pentecostal City Mission, to UK, and it's the same regiment. My mum was in the same like my gran, church Monday, Sunday, Tuesday, Wednesday, every week she'll be in church. There's no way around it, So that's how I was raised. And I reached about 14, 15, and my mum allowed me to start playing football on a Sunday. But the deal was I go football in the morning and then I go church in the evening. But that didn't last long. I found ways to get out of that one, like sleeping, come out, fall asleep. Need to go to church because then she'd be late. So that's how I eventually got out of going to church and stuff. But I have to say, back then, church wasn't really for us. I don't know. People that grew up in that environment, church wasn't really for you. It was like a young person seen and not heard. It was literally you'd be seen but not heard. Everything went over your head. There was nothing apart from Sunday school. That was about it, really. I had to. My friends would go Sunday school and leave and go home. I'd have to stay because my mom's part of the church and not leaving till 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock sometimes in the Sunday afternoon, and it's a long day. I've been there since 9 because I got picked up in the church bus and stuff. So I left church, started partying and stuff. I became a young father, dad at 16.
Wow. So
straight out of school, I became dad. And by the age of 24, I had 4 children.
Wow.
I'd been to Jamaica a couple of times, and then when I turned 24, my mom said, you need to get out. You need to go and sort yourself out.
Wow.
So I went to Jamaica for about a month, and then I came back and I kind of started up my own little business, brought a van and started doing deliveries and all kinds of stuff. And and then I had a big road accident at 26, 27. I fell asleep at the wheel, drove into the back of a lorry, no seatbelt. It just wasn't my time to go.
Wow.
So I survived. I don't know how, because my face was imprinted on the windscreen, everything, but it wasn't my time. And then I started you start to think about life, isn't it? You start to change your perception on life. And then my children were getting older, and I wanted them to have some, foundation, get to know Christ a little bit better. Just to have an understanding that, there is a Christ and the world is bigger than what you think it is. So I started bringing them to church, not realizing was for me. It wasn't for them, it was for me. The Lord wanted me back. So how do I get me back? He brought me back. My mom was Jamaica at this time, so I was going to my auntie's church, and it was okay. I was used to, because I was used to Pentecostal station, but in there, and
wow,
I walked in there and I was like, so if you walk into a church, it's predominantly women. It's just like, and I thought, my gosh, this is the jackpot. I was a bit of a ladies' man, so I'm a bit of a ladies' man. So I walked into church and I'm thinking, oh my gosh, this is like a harem. There's just like 30 women in this church and like 2 or 3 men. And I'm thinking, is this God? So yeah. So and then I saw a young lady, she caught my eye, and then I'm trying to sweet talk this young lady, but she was strong in her faith. She brought me a Bible. That was her first gift to me, was a Bible. It was like, here you go. Forget all that sweet talk. Here's a Bible.
Wow.
So, and then we became friends, and she just started ministering to me. Eventually, you start to feel a difference. You know, as you start to get a deeper understanding of Christ, you start to feel different. You start to look at things differently, and you get it's a sense of peace, because I was bored with the world. I done it, you know, been there partying, girls, money, this, that, travel. I've been there, done it, and it was like, is this the rest of my life? I'm 29. Is this the rest of my life? I'm like, this is boring.
Wow.
If you've been to one party, you've been to every party.
Yeah.
So I've come in and I start to understand, and she's ministering to me, talking to her. I'm trying to sweet talk her. She's telling me about Psalms and this and that, and then slowly but surely you start to not want those things anymore. You know, I don't need to go to a party anymore. I don't need to drink anymore. I don't need to have excess amount of females anymore, because it wasn't satisfying me. They're momentary highs. I wanted something, you know, like the woman at the well, she wanted that pregnant water. You know, the minute you taste a bit of Jesus, it's like that taste. How do I get more? How do I get more? That was sweet. Like, I need more. I need more. And then that's basically, that was the start of the. She went off and got married to somebody else.
Oh wow!
It wasn't me. Yeah, she went off. It wasn't me. It wasn't for me. You know, I love her still to this day. She's a blessing, man. She's lived in Antigua now with her family and her husband. The actual irony is, her and her husband and me were in the same Bible class.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
that's amazing.
When I got baptized, I was going to a Bible class for a while. He was there. We became as well. But so it's a blessing, man. It's been a blessing, and the journey just progressed from there. It's just everything. I got baptized, and my whole life just flipped upside down. Just went.
Wow.
Just flipped up. So everything I'm doing, every job I do now is got nothing to do with any skill set I have. Well, obviously I have the skill set, but it's not anything that I have focused on or desired or wanted or anything. So even working with young people was just me expressing a point to my wife, saying, because I was driving, I'm not making good money up and down the motorway, and one day the thing is, I got prophesied over by my friend. He wasn't my friend at the time, so to drive the minibus at church, and I was there. I just dropped the Sunday school kids, and I come back in, and I heard this growly, rough Jamaican guy talking. His name is Pastor Benito Sapleton, and I walked in, and he kept looking at me. Nothing of it. Then he calls me to the front, and then they put their hand on your head and they're rocking you and they're doing all this stuff. And then he started prophesying over me, telling me he's gonna that you're gonna work with young people, you're gonna be known all over the country, and some other bits and pieces. And then I said to myself, who is this clown? What's he talking about?
Wow.
This guy's a joker. These so-called prophets. These so-called prophets giving it big talk. And then 6 months later, I got fed up of driving, because I'm thinking, I'm driving, I'm doing I'm good. I don't need nothing, I'm good. At this time, I know my wife since I was 15. I've got married since then. So, and then 6 months later, I just got fed up of driving.
Okay.
Just got fed up. And my wife said to me, why don't you volunteer and work with young people, because you're always complaining about them and stuff like that. And I was like, and throughout my whole life I've always been told, you should work with young people, you're good with young people. And I'm like, and my answer to that was, I have my own children, I ain't got no time for anybody else's.
Wow. Yeah.
So I made a phone call to Brent, because that's the borough I lived in at the time, and lady got back to me and said, look, we've got no voluntary position, but there's a job going at Alperton High School, which is my old high school. So she goes, okay. I went, okay. And they give me the application form. I couldn't even fill out the application form, Bishop, because I haven't filled out application form in like 15 years. I've wrote down, I've made mistakes, crosses, and my wife said, you can't send that in. I went, this is me. If they take me, they take me. They don't. This is me. This is where I'm at. I'm not going to try and make this a perfect. This is me. It's got crosses on it. It's got was it, I don't know if I might be Tipex. I don't know, I'm too sure. All of that. And I handed it in. And they gave me an interview. And they said, based on the interview, that's why I got the job, because the application form was a mess. I went, well, that's me. But it goes, wow. You're exactly what we're looking for. Someone like you with your background that's going to come in and you're not, you know where these young people are coming from because you've grown up in that environment. So, and it goes, the training is going to be on the job anyway. We're going to send you to these different training courses. And I went to the last free mentoring training that the government will offer. Because now you got to pay how much you got to pay for. And then from there, I've just never looked back, really. So everything's just open from there. Even me being on the radio was another story in itself.
So Theo, just one minute. After the accident, you remember you said you had an accident. Was there a change in your life?
Not so much, because I wasn't around the people that made the change, because all my friends were in the same like that. So I didn't have anybody from church.
Okay.
Was she in the country? I don't know if my mom was still in the country. Apart from my mother and my auntie, and I wasn't living with them. So there was nobody there to like pray or anything to put me in that frame of mind. My frame of mind at the time was...
Sorry to interrupt.
Sorry?
How was your relationship with your mother when you came to England?
Oh, my relationship with my mom's always been great. There's never been a problem. It's always been great. But I was little, so I was only like 8 years old when I first came. So I wouldn't... Yeah, so it was fantastic. No problem there.
So what in your youth, what difference was there in your youth, the impact that made you come to work with you after, before the prophecy, there was nothing?
With young people, no, they don't. Yeah. I've always had my eye on them because my youth, I enjoyed my youth. I had great time, but then you're looking around and you're thinking, why are these young people, where they're at? Them upset. It's dark times. They're fighting each other, things, and I work my head back. Like now they live in London. They live in little islands. Their little estate where they live. Or I could go everywhere. I went everywhere in London. I had no problem. So I didn't. It was just baffling to me, and I just couldn't get my head around it. So
you took care of your kids while your wife was working before you went to the school to be a mentor?
So my first 4 children are with 2 different mothers.
Okay.
So they were 2 different mothers. So my first 2 boys are with one mother and the 2 girls are with somebody else. So by the time I met my wife, I already had 4 children.
Okay.
So when me and my wife got together, she had no children, and then we have 2 a year apart.
All right.
So that was... So yeah, there's a like 8-year gap between my youngest out of the first 4 and my wife. So my 2 boys now are 16 and 15, the 2 young ones.
Wow.
They're 1 now.
So wasn't that a major impact now that you got married and you got other kids? How did your wife accept that?
It was tough. It was tough because when you're taking on other children, it's not only taking on their mothers as well. The mothers are there and thereabouts. So the moms still have a big influence on their children. So what I would say to men who are in that position is talk to your children and try and have a good relationship with the mother. Try and have the best relationship you can have with the mother, because it makes life a bit easier. So like the 2 first mums, you know, they had an argument when we were young, and I just nipped that in the bud. I said, look, you two don't know each other. I'm the main cause. So if you got a problem, you come to me. You don't go to each other. There's no need to fight each other. I'm the main person here. It's because of me why you lot are in this situation. So there is no qualms between you two. I did that when I was like 22. I just said, this is not.
Wow.
So
that is amazing.
And I just raised I just raised them together. I just raised them all together.
All of them, the 4, were the 6 together?
Yeah, so I used to have them. I used to have them every weekend.
You broke up there now. You broke up a little bit there. Can you repeat that, please?
Yeah. I said I used to have all 4 of them every weekend.
Wow. That's amazing. If some fathers could hear what you have done to bring peace among the mothers, because of your sons are more important, and have a good relationship, surely the kids saw that. Yeah,
because if you meet my children all together, I know they come from separate households. Because they're raised as brothers and sisters. There isn't no, you know, they have their own group chat and their own stuff, what they do. Like my daughter had her 24th the other day, and I wasn't invited. But, you know, they invited their brothers and stuff like that, because they're raised like that's their brothers and their sisters. So they have their internal brother and sister jokes. And so, you know.
So I can imagine when they all come together there must be banter, there must be laughter. The house is full, man.
Yeah. So Father's Day the other day, it was a full, everybody was there. First time I've had all of them together, all my grandchildren together. So
that, you know what I admire of you, Minister Theo, is the way you treated your family, your sons, your daughters, and how you raised them up. It must have been a tremendous challenge.
It was tough, because I was pretty much on my own. You know, there's nobody else in my situation. I'm the man. I've got to make sure that. So I just used to work pretty much around the clock. You know, I had a van, and people know me back then. I had this red van, and I was pretty much I lived in that van pretty much.
Really, to take care of your kids.
Yeah, so they didn't lack for anything.
Wow.
You know,
but you know what amazed me? The lady that you married now, that you are with, she had to take care of them, and you made the job actually easier when the communication lines are open.
Yeah. That's the only way it can. That's the only way it can work. Is if you communicate. Not saying it was easy, but it's challenging. Now the children are older. It's much easier. But they were young, because the moms, you know, people are people. They're gonna say, they're gonna, you know, they can throw a little spanner in the works, but you just have to work through it and just pray. Sometimes just pray that it all works out. Because I always say to people that the kids get older, children grow up. They don't stay little one for little.
That's right. I agree with you. So Minister Theo, you said to me something about that. You said to God, 15 years. Tell us about that. That they said to God, Lord, I'm giving you 15 years. 15 years I was away from you, and I want to tell us that story. How did that come about?
So I have a way. I speak to the Lord. I speak to the Lord plain and straight. Maybe it's the Jamaican in me. I don't know. I just tell him straight. I don't beat around the bush. I said, look, Lord, if you want me, I'm going to give you 15 years. Yeah.
Wow.
I've done 15 years in the world, and I lived it. I lived the world fully. I enjoyed myself. I'm not going to say I didn't enjoy it. I enjoyed myself. There were high times, bad times, but I enjoyed everything that came along with it. So I said, Lord, I'm going to give you 15 years. I'm going to dive in and give you everything. I'm going to give you me for 15 years. And then at the end of that 15 years, I see where I'm at. And then I'm going to, after that, I'll weigh up what's going on. And then whichever life I desire, and live that life. And that's it. No turning back. So I've been longer than that 15 years now in the Lord. So it's obviously which path I'm on.
But you know, Well, you know what I admired about you when I met you the first time at the Bread Factor. That what you're doing now, I see a bigger picture happening. You know, I
Yeah.
was at a Premium Radio with Reverend David Peterson, and we spent some
Yes,
time. You remember that? And I know you told you a
yeah.
presenter. We're gonna get to that very soon. I just want K9 to sing for us. You can make a cup of tea if it's possible. And when K9 sings for us, we're gonna come back. We just want to see if it's on now, and then we will get back to you, sir. Bless you. See you in a bit.
No problem. All right then, brother.
Bless you. Wow, ladies and gentlemen, we have K9, the spoken word. I hope you enjoyed the first part of it. K9. You just amaze me. You just amaze me the way the words are flowing. It's exciting to hear that God has given each one a different gift. And sooner or later, we're going to interview you one of these days and tell us how God has brought you through. I hand it all over to you, sir. You go ahead, K9.
Thank you, Bishop. This one is called What's Your Life Like? It's a pretty short one, so I may repeat it twice. What's your life like? What's your life worth? What's your life worth? Tell me, what's your life worth? Priorities, what is on your mind first? Are you illegal putting in that grind work, or got a proper job from 9 o'clock to 5:30? Do you do it in the nice birds, Armani, Versace, and Nike? Or do you do it for the gains and the right perks? What's your life worth? Tell me, what's your life worth? What's your life like? Tell me, what's your life like? Are you focused? Have you got your mind right? Do you avoid confrontation, or do you like fights? Are you cruel-hearted, or you the nice type? What's your life like? Tell me, what's your life like? Are you focused? Have you got your mind right? Are you the cruel type? Are you the nice type? What's your life like? Tell me, what's your life like? Thank you.
K9, what's your life like? Tell me what's your life like. K9, can I ask you one question before you go? Why is your rap name K9?
I was in a group when I was young, and we all had names after dogs. So,
Okay.
So my name was K9, and other people had like other dog names, and the name kind of stuck with me since I was really young. I've tried to change it and have different names, but everyone keeps calling me K9 still. So I've stuck with it.
Thank you, mate. Enjoy the show with us further. Eh? God bless.
God bless. Thank you.
Bless you. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this program is Let's Be Real. There is nothing we want to hide. This is stuff that people, you will never hear it on any show, no television, YouTube, real life issues. We're talking to people that is coming out from digging back from where God has brought them through, whether you're saved or not saved. We're going to have more people coming on. Here is a young man, went to Jamaica, came back, grew up here, and look how God is still. He said something amazing. Fathers, have a good relationship with the ladies, even if you left them. Stay, because your kids are your responsibility. Let me welcome Minister Theo back to the studio. Hey, man of God.
How you doing, sir?
K9 is rapping to us. K9 is rapping to us. It was some guys are just amazing.
Doing his thing, man.
Yeah, he's doing his thing, and you doing your thing too. You became a youth counselor, helping young men and young women. How did Premium Gospel Radio come together?
So Premier came about. My friend was at the stage at the time, a guy Wayne Marshall, and I was studying counseling, and he called me because we've done some work together with young people. So he ran a few projects. He's asked me to do some workshops for him. and I did them. So he called me one day, and then he said, "Look, Theo, I've got this talk show called Awkward. It's called Awkward. It was a talk show aimed at young people. So that's awkward scenarios that young people find themselves in and stuff like that." And he goes, "It's a live talk show. It's on a Wednesday night. It's from 9 till 11. Will I be available?" So when the course finished at 9, I goes, "Yeah, I can be there." You know, I was a listener to Premier Gospel. So I just came on the station to be nosy. So I said, "I get here about quarter to 10, 10 o'clock, and do the last hour with you." So I came down and I sat over in that corner over there. And Moiwa, the station director, was here as well, because it's a new show. So he normally hovers around when it's a new show, and because he had Gospel Tonight coming on afterwards. So I was there, and I did the first show. I don't know if it was the first or the second show I did, and I said, "I like this. This is kind of cool, just sitting here, just talking, and it just felt so natural and comfortable." And the irony is, I don't like my voice. Well, I didn't like my voice. You know, I thought a bit monotone, a bit. You know, most people don't like the sound of their own. There's very few people like the sound of their own voice.
It's true.
But people were sending in messages via like Facebook saying, "Who's that presenter? I like their voice," and all different things. And I'm like, really? I thought there was just, you know, as the young people say, gassing me up. I thought, yeah, right, yeah, sure. I was like, sure, yeah. But then they showed me the messages, and then I just kept coming every week, and then we came off air for like 6-7 months, and we came on a Sunday evening, about 5 till 7 or something like that. It was on air, and I enjoyed it, because when I was off it, I missed it. And I didn't know. I was like, this is crazy. I'm missing the radio. I was missing it. And then, so it was on for another maybe 6-7 months or 8 months. Then Moiwa calls me in one day, and he says, "Look, I've got a show for you. You know, it's a talk show that we had before, but it was normally a testimony show. So we'd have pre-recorded testimony in that. But what I want is you in the studio with young, live in the studio."
Wow.
So I had to then learn how to operate all this stuff behind me.
Okay.
Yeah, I had to learn to operate it, because I was just sitting on the opposite side of the desk to Wayne, and he did all that.
Okay.
So I didn't have a clue. And if anyone that knows me very well knows, I'm not techie at all. My wife will tell you, I'm a laddette when it comes to technology. I'm terrible. Yeah, I have children to operate my phone. That's why I have children. They tell me how to operate my phone. I don't know anything.
They're good, yeah. They're very good.
I can't even switch on my children's PlayStation. I'm scared of it. I look at it. I don't know how to turn it off or on. It's on. I just and then I just leave you out the room. I don't know how the machine turns off. So I had to learn to operate all this.
Wow.
So he calls me in and says to do this show, and then I have to start learning how to do presenting this. But there's a thing I got to tell you, Bishop. So this is a part of a testimony. This is for somebody, and I'm going to tell this to somebody. So the very first show I did, live show, wasn't the shout. So me and Wayne had done our talk show, Awkward. Wayne's gone. So I'm in the studio like I am now, in this building like I am now. You've been to the building.
Yeah.
So it's a good sized building, yeah?
Yes.
So this winter time is dark.
Yeah.
Me one by myself, about to go live to do a show by myself. There's nobody around. Yeah, I'm like, okay, and it's a jazz show. I don't know anything about jazz. I remember Moy was saying you need to know some Asian about some of the artists and all that. So I'm spending time on Google trying to type in all this information, and then there's gaps in the system. So there's like 15-minute gaps. I can't remember how to, because now I've forgotten everything. I don't know how to find the songs, and I'm sitting there going, oh my gosh, what's happening here? This is crazy. So, and I'm talking and I'm saying I've got a 2-minute gap, but people don't realize talking on the radio for 2 minutes is a long time.
Really?
It's a long time. Especially you don't know what you're talking about. You're talking about music, you have no clue. You don't know these artists, don't know the songs, don't know what they sound like. So I did the first link, and where I'm now, right in that corner, I put the mics down and everything, and just along. They're very long songs. They're like 5, 6, 7, 8. Some of them are 9 minutes long. And I let them play. And I sat in the corner and I had a fight. And I'm talking a fight, a real spiritual fight. It was, what are you doing? What are you doing? You don't know what you're doing. Who told you that you could be a radio presenter? That's what's going in my head. Who told you you could be a radio presenter? Listen to how you sound. You don't even not making any sense. Often you don't. You're stupid. What are you talking about, Phil? What do you know about radio? You don't know. Just get up and go. Just get up and go. The door's in. Pick up your stuff. Desk in auto and walk out. Never to come back again. Just don't do it. You're stupid. You know. You don't know anything. Pretending to be a radio presenter. I said, and this was like 15 minutes, and it was like, and I literally got up a few times, literally got up a few times, and I said, you don't quit, you never quit. It's not in you to quit. Don't quit. They said, people have invested time. People have invested time in you. They've, you know, I've had training. People have invested time. They've gone out their way to make you this. And you're gonna just walk out the door. That's not right. You can't do that. So back to the show, got to the show, walked out, and I was like, and the reason why I say that is because if I had walked out then, I wouldn't be sitting here now talking to you.
Correct.
And I've been on radio now 8 years.
Now I know what you're talking about.
And that's the enemy. And that's the enemy. Just before your breakthrough, the enemy comes and gives you up because he knows what's beyond. He knows what's around the corner. I don't know what's around the corner. I wasn't expecting to be here and doing what I'm doing now. It wasn't part of my plans. It wasn't nothing I had trained for or studied. So I just say that to somebody. If it's God's in it, just stick it out. Stick it out.
Okay. What would you, man of God, what would you say to young people that want to be in the studio, what you're doing? What direction? I know me, I've never done this. Even back home in Cape Town, I was on a radio program, a Christian radio station. I came to England, I was with a guy called Stan Davis, he passed away. He had Fresh Anointing Gospel radio station. That was awesome in Birmingham. You at a different level. What advice would you give someone who wants to do what you're doing?
The best advice I give to somebody, practice, get to know your stuff. Know what you know. Like if you're gonna be doing a music show, know music. Know your music, and just be confident. Confidence it takes a long way. It takes a long way. Just be confident, but get to know your stuff. Know your music. Know the genre you're going into. Get a deep understanding of it. Know some of the artists. Like now, before I didn't know any of the artists. Now I know pretty much most of them. Know stuff about them. And if you want to do, a that does interviews, practice interviews. Interview your family members. Interview your family members. Talk to family members. You know, speak to your bishop. Speak to people in church to practice your skills, so it becomes a natural. And try to be as natural. No, like when Fredericks started, I was training him, and he used to put on all this radio voice that he saw and that he heard on the TV. Oh yeah, this is Reverend David. I was like, yo, bro, cut that.
Yeah.
I was like, cut that.
Just be yourself. Just be yourself.
Just be yourself. Just be yourself. Just be yourself. And just know your stuff. There's know your stuff. There isn't no magic formula. It's just literally know yourself. Be confident. That will come more. If you got a chance to, do a church radio or something like that, do it. Play some music. If you got music, play some music at the church party or whatever it may be, and build up your skills that way. Yeah, I'm fortunate. I don't have to be a DJ because the music's all in the system.
Yeah. So no, Minister Theo, I know you involved with Hearts of Talent. What impact will Hearts of Talent do to young men and women that where you and I come from? You are one of the men of God that's involved. What impact would Hearts of Talent do to young men and women?
I would have a massive impact, because if you look around, I mean, I work with young people, what they lack is opportunities. No, there's opportunities there, but someone to present the opportunities to them. So just like we got K9 there, it's a young man, you know, he's been around for a while, but you've given him an opportunity to come on this platform now, so people to hear him. And that's what it's about. So you've got men and women, young and women who are out there with lots of talent, but they don't know where to go, because there is actually what society lacks is what I had a lot of when we were younger: youth leaders, youth workers. There isn't any youth worker. There isn't an appropriate adult or around anymore. You know, the church itself doesn't open its doors as much as it used to, because for whatever reason. And so there isn't a young person who's got talent. Where do they go? Who do they speak to? Who offers them this chance? There is nowhere for them to go. So it was fantastic. The take up on that was like, when Jasmine was telling me the take up, was like, wow.
Yeah.
They want somewhere to go.
That's true.
So it will be a blessing for them.
Definitely. I know, because Hearts of Talent is touching many people, and it's been enlarging now. It's going as far as Manchester, it's going to Birmingham, it's coming to Banbury. We are enlarging because a lot of people are seeing the vision, and men like yourself, like you and I, we didn't finish school. We didn't finish school, but look what God is doing.
Yeah. Because your talent is what God's given you.
Absolutely. So you are married, you got kids now, you're working with youth. What impact? Let me rephrase it. You are working with young men and women. What was significant to touch one person?
What was that? Sorry?
What is so significant in what you're doing to touch a young man or a young woman in youth work?
It's because it changes a young person's life. It can, you know, sometimes it's a simple thing of life or death. You know, sometimes touching a young person's life, it could be the matter of life or death, depending on their lifestyle, depending on what's around them. So, you know, and I say this to anybody: if you know a young person, reach out to them, talk to them.
Yeah.
And if you see a group of young people, don't be scared to talk to them, because most of them, they're not scary. They're not this big, bad, scary. They're young people. They're human beings.
That's right.
You know, and you don't know that. You don't know. You spending 5-10 minutes with a young person could change that young person's outlook on life. So, and it's important that we spend more time with them.
And what you're saying is true. Many young people are also looking for role models, people they can trust, because they come from different homes. And being a youth worker, especially in the 20th century, where technology is so advanced, young people just need a comfort word of encouragement.
Yep, definitely. And they don't get it. There isn't many people around doing that. There's very few. There's quite a few organizations, but they're so sparse, and they're in one corner's here, one's there, and it's spread out. So for instance, a young man's influence, or as an older, is someone 10 years, a 10-year older version of themselves. They're not actually intelligent in any way. They're just 10 years older than them. So a 15-year-old hanging around with a 25-year-old, we shouldn't really have anything in common, really and truthfully. We shouldn't have anything in common. You know, we're not within the same generation of school. But that's what we've seen on the streets. That's on the streets. And that 25-year-old is the one that's heading that 15-year-old down the same.
Wow. You know what, Minister Theo, you said you went to apply for a job and you wrote it and they accepted you and they gave you the job. That must have been life-changing.
Yes, it became life-changing. Yeah, definitely. Because Um, the irony is what I earn in a month working in a school, I could earn in a week driving the lorries.
I know.
I'm not.
I
I'm
know.
not money. I'm not money. I'm not money motivated. Money to me is a tool to pay your bills and do what you need to do, but it's not my first goal. I'm not going to do it just because there's money on the table.
Mm-hmm.
I do it because of the impact it will have.
Yeah. But it's amazing that you made that sacrifices because lives were at stake because of the prophecy that went out. Didn't that come back to you and said, "Wow, hang on, that prophecy is coming now real"?
Yeah. Oh yeah. That I've me and that prophet became good friends. He became like my best friend. He was actually the best man at my wedding because we got married. So my wife's Ghanaian, so we did the traditional one first, and then
Okay.
we did the walk down the aisle like 5 years later. And he became my best man. That's how much of friends. He passed away now a few years ago. God rest his soul. But yeah, he was a joker. But yeah, he doesn't even remember. He doesn't remember. But I said I remember. That's the most important thing.
That's great. So, can I ask you one more question? This radio station
Yeah, go
means
for
the
it, sir.
world to you. This radio station mean the world to you. Did
Yeah,
you get
yeah.
that?
It's. Huh?
Did you get that? What I said? The radio station, this program that you're doing, our premium gospel radio station. I truly believe that that was God sent for you to do that. Is because God has predestined you to touch as many lives there, and just you enjoy what God is doing.
Oh, I love it. I absolutely love it. I absolutely love it. If you had said to me 10 years ago, I'll be on the radio, I would have just laughed you out of existence. I would have just laughed. I would have just laughed. I thought, you don't know what you're talking about. I don't have music on my phone. That's how much I'm not. I'm not that guy. I'm not. If you want music, I'm not that guy. People say, "Oh, you're a DJ and radio to me." I'm not that guy.
Yeah.
I'm not. I know DJs. I know I'm not that guy. And you know what it is. Um, the Lord knows bestowed upon you. So I like to talk,
Mm-hmm.
and radio is the best place. You like to talk, radio is good for you. If you don't like to talk, you can't be on the radio. If you're not a talker or you're not comfortable talking, forget
Yeah.
radio. It's not for you. There's other jobs you could do. You may be a producer who doesn't talk. You can produce radio shows or
Yeah.
engineering. But if you don't like to talk or you're not comfortable talking, then it's definitely not your. It's not your portion.
Now, before we go, Minister Theo, when does Premium Radio, Gospel Radio, have an open day so the young men and women can see what you're doing? Do they have something like that?
I was running one, but since the lockdown, I've been able to stop that. But if they want to come down, yeah, just holler at me, man. That's not a problem. That's not.
So people can
I
just
can
see.
always be that way.
Wow, that would be amazing.
Yeah,
Because a lot of young,
they can just holler at me.
pardon?
No, they can just come down. I had a couple of schools come down, and I've done some days, like half days with them, so they get a chance in the studio. They get to meet the different departments and teams that work here, because everybody here at Premier, there's the magazine, the news team, the engineers, everybody in when we open normally. So they come down, they spend like about 2-3 hours, and I show them different bits and pieces and stuff like that. So yeah, that's not a problem. That can be arranged.
No, thank you so much to man. Theo, Minister Theo, thank you so much for sharing your story and how God turned it around for what you're doing and how God has added to your life. We on Let's Be Real want to appreciate your time, appreciate your testimony and sharing your story, how God turned it, and even in the direction you are going now. God bless you, my brother. I will definitely get in contact with you.
Bless you. God
Thank
bless
you,
you,
sir.
sir. God bless you. Join me on a
Yes, man.
Saturday night on Premier Gospel. 7 to 10 on a
Yes,
Saturday on
definitely.
Premier Gospel.
From what time?
God bless. 7 to 10 p.m. on Saturday in Premier Gospel.
Definitely.
Or
We'll
on
be
the
connected.
podcast called Naked Love. Yes.
See you, my brother. Blessings, eh?
God bless you, sir.
Take
Speak to
care.
you soon. Love.
Yeah, speak to you soon. Good night. Wow. You know what? God can do anything in your life. It doesn't matter where you come from. Even if you've got no education, no degrees, God can lift you up. And your dreams can come true. If you can believe it, you shall receive it. The vision God gave you, listen, this is real. Brother, the man of God didn't speak everything. There are some things you were holding back. It's all good, I know. But you know what, ladies and gentlemen? There is a plan and a purpose for your life, because God is the architect of it. Today, Minister Theo, he's working with Hearts of Talent. He's a youth counselor. He's a radio presenter. He's a father. He's a husband. Now look at that. You might look at your story and say, can God turn it around for my life? I'm saying to you, yes, he can. This is Bishop Samuel Fredericks signing off. Let's be real. Let's keep it true. Next week, we've got another interesting person. I'm keeping the tabs. Listen to me. I would like to hear from you. God bless you. Take care.